I teach performing arts for the 7th through 12th grade, as well as stagecraft and scenic design and speech and debate.
One thing that I think people don't really know about Mrs. Palmer is how much of an advocate she really is for personal goals. When it comes to personal goals, she goes farther than just like performing arts and speech and stagecraft. She really wants to know where you're going and how things are, and I think one thing that I really love about her is how much she cares about people individually. She's got such a large class and she cares more about just the class and the numbers themselves.
I remember my freshman year, Miss Palmer brought up the idea to our class of doing summer camps. All of us obviously were on board. I'd been doing summer camps before this, and I can tell you this summer camp is a completely different opportunity than any other camp I've been a part of. While yes, we sing and we dance and we act, but this acting camp also does more than that. She gets us in books, she teaches us new methods of acting, she teaches us concentration circles and everything you can imagine. It's larger than life, and it's probably one of the best summer camps I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of.
I've known Miss Palmer for a good 5 years now, and I honestly wouldn't be where I am without her. She has motivated me. She has, she's put me where I am. She's honestly like a second mother to me. It's great being able to wake up and knowing that I'm going to this class speech, because it's fun for me. It's like an escape from my reality, and I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't be motivated to do the things I do if it wasn't for her. Like, I am who I am because of Miss Palmer.
When Mrs. Palmer invited a different school to be in our annual spring fling, we're able to establish new friendships, build a better work ethic, and those students were able to perform in a higher rated facility that they might not have been able to before.
I'm Mrs. Palmer's intern, and the one thing I learned and got out of my internship was that performing arts isn't just like a teaching job. It's more than that. There's a lot of business aspects to it. Like, there's so much money and time and work that goes into it. It's not just something that stays in the school. We have to outsource to so many other businesses in the area, and she does a lot more than just teach us. She's always buying us stuff. She's always looking for better ways to improve the program, and not just our performances, but how we look, how we present ourselves. And it's really impressive. It's very, very admirable.
One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I get all of these kids to work together and put on a good show? And the thing that I usually answer is motivation. And the way I motivate kids is I ask them to become owners of their own projects. I ask my students to choreograph numbers themselves. I ask students to direct each other, and I get their input. How do you think this scene should go? Or how do you think this character feels in this moment? And I feel that the more a student has ownership over what they're doing, the better product that they put out.
So every year, Mrs. Palmer sets a goal for our program. Her first year, the goal was to build our classroom numbers, which tripled within one single year. The next year was to bring in larger audiences, and through tons of advertising and making visits to schools, we were able to see an extremely significant growth in our audience size. Last year, the goal was to get us to a national competition, and so we packed our bags and traveled 24 hours on a school bus to and from Disney World and placed third against a bunch of other schools. This year, the goal was to increase our professionalism, and so we have broken our class into departments as a theater company would. We have a group that handles props, a group that takes care of costumes, one for box office, house management, production, choreography, and marketing. Each of these groups is run by our leadership team, which meets with Ms. Palmer once a month to discuss our next steps and talk about the progress we've already made.
Before I met Ms. Palmer, I was homeschooled due to mental health issues, and coming back to school was really scary for me. But then I found performing arts, and my whole world changed. I was accepted, I was happy, and that was new for me. And Ms. Palmer was a very big part of that. She has created an environment where we can all be ourselves, where we can all grow. She gives us so many opportunities, not only to grow in theater, but as people. I cannot thank Ms. Palmer enough for everything she has done for me and every opportunity she has shown me through lights, sound, anything tech related, anything performing arts related. I cannot thank her enough.
We're talking about logical fallacies and reasoning. These are important because you are writing your original oratories right now. We do domestic extemporaneous speaking contests. This is an argumentation and debate class, right? So we're talking about logical fallacies and reasoning, and we know what those mean, right? That means there's a problem with the statement because there's a fallacy involved somehow. We've made an assumption, and we've made a wrongful assumption for some reason. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play a little bit of a game. And I'm going to read to you some tweets from Twitter. Some of them are your tweets.
Oh my God.
And what you're going to do is you are going to show me a sign. All of you are going to do it when I read the tweet. You're either going to, hey, I agree with this statement and retweet, or I do not agree with this statement and delete. If you raise up a delete, then I'm going to ask you which fallacy that statement committed. Okay? It's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you don't quite remember. You can kind of summarize it for me, and then as a class, we'll say, oh, that's this fallacy. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, you can retweet something that is a fallacy, can't you?
Yeah.
Do we do that all the time?
Yeah.
All the time. So this is a little lesson in digital citizenship as well. But yes, you can retweet it. If you just like the statement and you know it's a fallacy but you like it anyway, you can retweet it because, more power to your thoughts. But if you want to delete it, you can delete it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 9 out of 10 Marvel fans agree. So Iron Man is the best Avenger. Oh, I see some retweets. Yes? Okay, I see a delete. So tell me, which fallacy do you think that was?
I forgot what it was called. It was the one where it's like the authority one.
It could be. It could be an appeal to authority if you feel like a Marvel fan is an authority on this subject. But what else could it be, Alyssa? Bandwagon, right? Just because everybody says so doesn't mean he's the best, although Iron Man is the best. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Are you ready? Are you ready? Aida is one of the best musicals out there. According to Mrs. Palmer, she would know. Retweet. I like the retweets. Very good. You deleted. Okay. All right, you deleted. Which fallacy was that?
I don't remember what it's called. I think it has something to do with opinions.
Well, obviously, it has something to do with
I don't
opinions.
remember any of the names, but...
Okay.
That one would be appeal to authority.
Yeah.
That one would be appeal to authority, right? Because you're assuming Mrs. Palmer is the authority on the subject, on musicals. And maybe she is. I don't know. Okay, let's read the next one. Number 3. If we continue to obsess over TikTok dances, the real art of dance will be lost. Retweet, retweet, retweet. I see so many retweets, but you do have a delete there. So what do you think?
Okay, I think that one is, the name is rusty, but I mean the one that just assumes that the correlation.
That's close. A correlation versus causation, maybe. But more importantly, we're looking at a small problem that becomes a bigger problem.
I started working with Mrs. Palmer 3 years ago as a co-teacher for performing arts, and immediately when I started this job, I was just awed by what an expert she is at making our kids feel loved and appreciated and capable of doing whatever she wanted them to do. She has set these incredibly high standards for high school students. Normal high school programs are not able to do the things that she has set these standards for. And with her teaching and her mentoring, these kids have risen to incredible heights. They've gotten to experience things that they never would have gotten to experience. Most high school kids don't get to experience and don't get to put on the high level of performance that they do. She has set the goal for herself not only to teach these kids to be incredible performers, which she does, but to also teach them to be great people. And she makes an effort in every lesson to teach them something about themselves and teach them how to be the best version of themselves.